Tonight, a new set of coronavirus safety measures is coming to public schools across the Med-City.
KIMT News 3's Anthony Monzon joining us with the latest from Rochester Public Schools. Anthony, why is the district right now choosing to make these adjustments at this point in time?
Well, Katie and George, Interim Superintendent Dr. Kent Pickel says the changes announced today reflect lessons learned since school has been back in session. Taking a look at the latest RPS coronavirus numbers, the district has seen 312 confirmed COVID cases among students so far this school year. That's about 2% of the student body. 94% of infected students were unvaccinated and 63% were elementary level learners. RPS Interim Superintendent Pickel says in the big picture, these numbers are relatively small, but the adjustments you're about to hear will better protect students and staff as they grapple with the pandemic.
I think that our strategy is broadly sound, but it's a rapidly changing virus, and so our strategy needs to be rapidly and continually updated.
Interim Superintendent Dr. Kent Pickel rolling out a wave of new pandemic protocols at Rochester Public Schools. Among them, metrics to determine when groups need to quarantine. Should 15% of a classroom test positive or show symptoms of coronavirus, they would likely move to distance learning for 2 weeks. The same would happen if half of a grade level or school building tests positive, shows symptoms, or is already quarantined.
That would be the point at which we would look at moving the whole class to distance learning. The reason it's not an absolute trigger is you might have, of those 15% of the kids, 10% who are nearing the last days of a quarantine and almost able to come back. And so it's the point at which we will look at moving a classroom, and in the last several days we have moved several classrooms to distance learning.
The district also plans to try a test-to-stay style quarantine alternative at 3 schools later this month. Requirements to participate include universal masking and daily at-home testing for unvaccinated asymptomatic students.
We would have the at-home rapid antigen test, Binax Now over the counter, that families would give to a student who is not symptomatic, who we don't think has COVID, but who was near an identified case of COVID, to test in school, and then if they are coming back negative, they would be able to continue in an instruction.
Additional safety enhancements include free optional testing for all, new staff members to aid the district's COVID response, and a major investment in air purifying systems.
We are going to be using some of the federal funds we have from the American Rescue Plan to buy over 1,000 HEPA filters, 1 per classroom, a couple hundred filters for media centers, cafeterias, high traffic areas, and some active pure air systems that actually we'd be distributing 1 per site with some additional systems targeted for high traffic areas.
Now, some community members have been calling on RPS to implement a vaccine mandate for district staff. Interim Superintendent Pickel says RPS just doesn't have the resources to institute a verifiable vaccine requirement, though that could change if new rules come down from the federal government. Katie, George.
All right, thanks, Anthony. Well, RPS is stepping up COVID safety measures. The district says it no longer has the resources to conduct contact tracing on transportation operated by contractor First Student.
It will, however, work to create as much space as possible between riders and require masking.